Now recording.
Hello, everybody. This is the latest episode of Dissonant Waves. We're on episode 25. Well, episode 25. Who knows what it really is?
Start 15 minutes late. Yay!
I'm recording for the first time. Hello, my name is Dominic. I'm actually doing technical work on this podcast now. I'm not just entertainment. Riddle and Tricks are here as well.
And I fixed his audio.
Yeah, I am still recording on Craig as a backup.
We will see how this goes. I am not very technically minded, so if this is a dumpster fire...
I'm drinking a cherry pear flavored cider, so...
I'm drinking a Bud Light seltzer.
Man, maybe I should get in on the drinking. I'm drinking Sam's Cola.
You're too young.
No, I'm 21, my dude.
You're too young.
Anyway, we got three albums this week to talk about. We got Isaac Hayes' Black Moses, we got AFI's December Underground, and we got He Will Have His Way, the songs of Neil Finn, Tim Finn, and the Finn family.
Mostly just those two Finns, but yeah.
Crowded House, Split Ends, all them. And I will say that I think this week will honestly be our most inconsequential week yet.
Yeah, this is like a bottom five, but like mid fives, not bottom five.
Like, nothing was bad, everything was alright, but nothing was really stood out, and nothing was really super important, and, you know.
I mean, I didn't choose the album this week, though, to stand out. I mean, I've picked... a couple times when I try and pick an album, I do fall under that. I want to put something out there that you'll absolutely love, but here this time I've decided let's actually get something that kind of more interesting to talk about the people behind it, and as I'm kind of saying this, I think we'll just kind of start off with this, because
sure.
I'm kind of already there. So for those who don't know who Tim Finn and Neil Finn are, they are the kind of founding members of the bands Split Ends and Crowded House. They're originally a New Zealand-based act back in like the 70s or 80s. I can't remember exactly what decade. It was before, you know, it was it's easy as it is now to branch out internationally. So they actually moved all the way to Melbourne in Australia and then formed Crowded House to kind of get a bit more exposure. And they ended up becoming one of the most inspirational artists in Australian music history. And in 2006, a compilation album, She Will Have His Way, She Will Have Her Way. I already fucked it up. That's take one.
Let's start over.
This is Dissonant Waves. No, not going back that far. Yeah, it came out in around 2006, which was a completely female-fronted compilation album named after the Crowded House song She Will Have Her Way. And it was around 15 or 16 covers by many different Australian / I think there was a couple New Zealand female artists. And then in 4 years later, they released the compilation He Will Have His Way, which is the one that we're more focusing on. However, get a bit more focus on the She Will Have Her Way, kind of in branches as we talk about this. And
yeah, please.
A lot of other Australian legends that were more male-focused came out and covered songs of this. Some of them, which were kind of some really interesting and new takes. Some of them were very kind of respectful of the original vision. And then you also have the Sleepy Jackson one, which is, I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's kind of cool.
It's groovy. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Like I said, Luke Still is the gayest person to not come out as a homosexual. I don't know how anybody in how not only was Empire of the Sun one of the biggest, like they are one of the biggest acts in the gay community, but neither of them were gay.
I think, just as an aside, I think Paul Stanley can pretty firmly fall under that umbrella too of gayest people to not be gay. Have you seen the album cover with their gay guitarist?
No,
I have not, but feel
Hold
like
up, I am pulling this up because for a while, one of the guys that replaced the I think it was Ace Frehley. One of the Ace Frehley replacements was gay, and so this was in their no makeup era. They're all just like wearing like these like fucking linen shirts, not linen shirts, like
silky,
like silky shirts. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. And the gay guy's wearing like a pink one. But right next to him is Paul Stanley, and he looks gayer than he does. Let me see if I can find that.
I think Kiss is going to be the band that we talk about the most and never cover. So
yeah, because well, I don't know if you saw my tweet about them, Dominic, but I put like a long rant about them a few days ago.
I barely go on Twitter anymore, to be honest. I did not see it, so please go off now if you want.
Okay, let me just pull up the tweet and then I'll find the.
While you're pulling that out, let's stray away from the gay jokes for a bit. And go back
Kiss
into...
Kiss is the perfect music to blast in your El Camino, with the windows down and the wind whipping through your balding mullet as you're on your way to fuck your girlfriend who's still in high school and who's only dating you because you give her beer.
Yes, actually, but...
I mean, to be fair, I am gay. This is a gay-friendly podcast. I hope
I
people
know it's a gay-friendly
that.
podcast, but we've also got artists to cover.
Yeah, we do.
If we get ourselves into a gay tangent, we're just going to be on a gay tangent.
So which of the 13 artists do you want to talk about first?
Well, I'm still going on about Tim and Neil Finn and about kind of Crowded House, and
sure.
There's a couple. There's a couple songs here off this album which that are not on this album, which it kind of surprised me. Songs like "Don't Dream It's Over" or "Bring the Weather With You," which there's a lot of songs that Crowded House and Split Enz came out with that pretty much everyone in this country knows. Again, stuff like the "Don't Dream It's Over" or "Bring the Weather With You." And there are a lot of... I do like that there's actually a lot of lesser-known Crowded House songs in here as well. It's not that those songs were exactly underground or anything, but they weren't the biggest Crowded House or Split Enz songs. And there's this very interesting mix of kind of Australian legends and just new kind of up-and-coming acts that were in this compilation.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at the time, Boy and Bear were completely unknown, and then this song that they put out for it actually was their breakout.
I mean,
We also had other ones like Philadelphia Grand Jury, Artists and Guns.
I
don't know if Cody Nelson or Bugsy Moreau with that, but Oh Mercy never really had a breakout.
I mean, this is spanning between Jimmy Barnes and Artists and Guns, who broke up after doing one album. So there's a lot to cover here, and in terms of it runs the whole gamut. If you look at the iTunes version, Perry Keys had another song. It was like a bonus track. I don't know why, but...
Well, I think before we get into the all the artists of He Will Have His Way, I'm gonna go look at all the artists quickly, and because I just don't want to kind of forget a lot of the artists that are on the female compilation.
Okay.
Because some of them I'm probably never going to cover, but they are still some of the most important female artists of Australian music history. Sorry, I'm very bad at talking. You have artists like Missy Higgins on there, who broke out from Triple J Unearthed, had a huge hit with the song Scar, and then she didn't end up a one-hit wonder. She was still quite well listened to by a lot of her fans to this day, and that hit came out all the way back in the early noughties. And then you've also got stuff like Little Birdie, which is another one of the Still family. I think she's the brother of Luke Still. Can't remember exactly what her first name is. I was never a big Little Birdie fan, but a lot of people in this country were. You also have the members of the band Seeker Lover Keeper, with Sarah Blasko and Holly Frosby. Natalie Imbruglia, which has one of the most played Australian songs of all time with a cover of Torn. You also have some really kind of who the hell are these artists kind of in there, like Amiel or Stella, or I don't even know who Sophie Kerr is, but someone might. And I haven't personally listened to this in this compilation myself. I mean, I hadn't listened to the He Will Have His Way compilation in full before this podcast, so that's kind of why. But there are some really important artists on there, and unfortunately I don't have any plans to cover any of them. maybe one day if I run out of ideas, like I'd pick Missy Higgins. But
Are you talking about the female compilation?
yeah, I'm talking about the female compilation.
Okay.
I don't know if either of you listened to it.
I ended up not.
Yeah,
Me either.
it's been a busy week.
Like, this is a week where it's like I had trouble listening to any of these albums because like they were just nothing I really wanted to listen to at the time. Like, He Will Have His Way is the only one, and I was like, all right, I can get with this a little bit.
I think the album I listened to the most this week was Rips One Into the Night.
The album I listened to the most this week might have been Tiger's Jaws, self-titled.
Oh, because of what we talked about before?
Actually, no, I was listening to it before that.
Oh, right, you said that, yeah. I think just by sheer length of time, the one I've listened to the most is probably the Isaac Hayes album.
Oh, you listen to it once, you probably listen to it more than any album. Good old Aaron 30 minutes.
There are some good songs in that, okay?
I probably listened to it like 2 or 3 times. 3 times, I think.
But we'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay, I found the album. I was trying to I was thinking it wasn't the Look It Up album, but it ended up being the Look It Up album cover. But guy with the pink vest, and then Paul Stanley on the other end.
Yeah, that's terrible. I hate it.
That is a very lazy cover. It's very lazy.
Was it lazier than Mythonic?
It's lazier than Lauv.
Yeah, but I forget the guitarist on that, but they replaced what's his name? Ace Frehley, and he was gay, and so to come out he was wearing the pink shirt. Then Paul Stanley's on the other end. He just looks like he's the gayest one of them all.
Debatable, but sure. Go on.
Nah, I had to agree with Trix on this one.
He looks like somebody. Yeah, he reminds me of somebody.
Although the pink vest person, I mean, there's a certain point where wearing a cross around your neck either makes you look more Christian or incredibly gay.
Especially...
and then there's Tony. But Tony Iommi can pull it off pretty well, I think.
Anyway, before this becomes a Kiss podcast again.
You're never going to cover Kiss, as far as I know, so...
Fuck no. Please no.
We'll probably cover AC/DC before Kiss.
So, after my lazy covering there with the She Will Have Her Way artist, which again, if anyone who actually listens to this podcast ends up liking some of the stuff on the He Will Have His Way, I guess have the She Will Have Her Way a listen, but... it's pretty much the same thing.
I mean, maybe we'll do that album one day. We'll see.
Maybe. Anyway,
he will have his way, however.
Which one? Which artist here do you have the most questions about?
How much you know about The Break? The Break was the one I could not find very much about, aside from Artists and Guns.
I only know about Dan Sultan. I'm so sorry.
Because it's like The Break is like a mix of Violent Femmes and Midnight Oil people. So you'd think they'd have like a big thing going on, but apparently they did not at all.
Remember Stardust?
No.
Exactly.
What is Stardust?
Stardust was one half of Daft Punk and someone else, and they released one song, and it was looking like they're gonna have an album and everything, but they just didn't do it.
Oh.
Oh well.
Sucks, because that one song is a banger.
But Shark Attack is also one of my favorite songs on the album. So good luck, or good job to them for doing that whenever they were doing The Break.
Dan Sultan has an absolutely lovely voice. And he's not one of those ones who, like... You see a lot of people who try to oversing songs and stuff that just don't have the voice to do that. And Dan Sultan doesn't oversing. He has... he recognizes kind of what his voice is more meant for. And it just works with it. And it just works beautifully.
There was a couple songs in here that remind me of other songs. This one was Rock Lobster by far. And then there was another song that reminded me of the Monster Mash. I have to look at my notes and figure out which one that is. But no, I really like the variety that was going on here. I was saying about some of them that it felt like, or like the Jimmy Barnes one, that it felt like Steven Tyler was like contracted to come in and do like a Soundgarden song or something like that. Like he's just that famous and that big, so it's like more produced and dramatic.
Jimmy Barnes is Australia's national screamer.
Like, it's like Steven Tyler's never just going to do a low-key, regular cover of a song if he's asked to. It's going to be a Steven Tyler, like, production.
Talking about old men that look like lesbians.
Oh, I mean, Jimmy Barnes was one of those artists that was around the same time that Crowded House and Split Ends was. Back when he was still fronting Cold Chisel. Which, ask your parents about. If you ask... I found there's a certain rule when it comes to music polls in Australia. Because the shitposting page on Facebook held a vote for their top 100 of all time the other day, and I listened to it. And certain rules are: if it's Reddit, Feel Good Inc. wins. If it's anywhere else on the internet, it's Mr. Brightside, which won this poll. And if it's a fucking Triple M during the 100 greatest songs of all time, it's always Cold Chisel's K-Sun.
Okay.
Literally, I want you to find every list you can from Triple M, not Triple J, Triple M, of their greatest songs of all time, specifically with Australian songs, and number one each time is Cold Chisel's K-Sun.
Okay. From my notes, I See Red is the Monster Mash song. I Got You is a Black Keys song. Private Universe is a Jam tropical Jimmy Buffett song. Not Even Close is like almost a Michael Jackson kind of song. Very 80s. Shark Attack is just Rock Lobster plus Bubbles.
I mean, it's not really too surprising to get these types of comparisons, though, because the kind of initial songs that are being covered, I mean, they didn't come out particularly the same time as all these songs did, but
no,
some of them would have come out in some pretty similar eras to that.
I do have a question, though. How much do you know about Art versus Science?
Enough.
Are they genuine?
Yes, completely.
Because I had questions if I See Red was actually a genuine thing or if this was some kind of like the darkness shit or something.
So, versus Science, Trix has already found the Triple M's 100 best Australian songs ever. And what's number one, Trix?
Cold Chisel's something or other.
K-San, yep.
Yep.
K-San, K-Sof.
And number two is Men at Work Down Under.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so interesting fact, most Cold Chisel fans, or most people who grew up as fans of Cold Chisel, do not consider K-San to be the best Cold Chisel song. Most of them pick Flame Trees.
Number 3 is Jimmy Barnes' Working Class Man.
Which is, again, another Jimmy Barnes, but yeah. And I mean,
Flame Trees is number 12.
Yep.
What is Ganga Jang?
Oh, Ganga Jang sounds like then. This is Australia. Yeah, that's the most Aboriginal name for a band that was mostly white.
I honestly thought it was Ganja Gang, but I feel like that wasn't it because it was probably too old.
Number 16, another Cold Chisel song.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cold Chisel were one of the biggest acts here. There's no surprise about that.
Even more than AC/DC?
But it's like putting Powderfinger's My Happiness at 31 is a disgrace. That's a top 10 song no matter what.
Hey, number 98, Gautier.
It's not even the best Gautier song.
It's not.
No, it's not.
That pops up on like my 80s pop playlist and I was confused, but I accepted it.
I mean,
yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, I don't know how much you want to go into Paul Dempsey since we're doing maybe something related to that soon. But,
I was going to go on about Art versus Science.
Sure, go on. Let's do that.
Yeah, so Art versus Science is a Sydney-based band. It's just a trio. They came around in 2007, around is when they kind of started to get a bit of notice. In 2008, I think it was, the song Flippers kind of came out. They had a little bit of a breakout. Then the song Parlez-vous Français came out, which is half in French, and pretty much all the lyrics in French translate to "if you can understand, take off your shirt," which ended up being one of the biggest hits of the year in Australia. No complaints, it's a banger. They are... The way to kind of describe them is experimental rock, because they are actually quite experimental when you kind of go into their more deeper discography. Stuff like Magic Fountain is fucking just incredibly fucking weird. I would say yes, they are pretty genuine. Apparently, they're also one of the best live acts you can ever see, but I've never seen them live, so I can't really vouch for that. Yep. Yes, that is true, but I think they didn't do much with Philadelphia. I think the only song that they put out with them was "Going to the Casino," which again, the lyrics to that is "Going to the casino, what could possibly go wrong?" And that's just repeated over and over. It's a good song.
Fuck.
But yeah. Yeah. Again, you also have other artists on here like Chris Chaney, who's a part of the Living End, which is one of Australia's biggest punk bands of the 90s. Which then turned into just straight out alternative rock in their last album. Living End isn't as good as they used to be. But I mean, they did have a song. Living End did have a song in Tony Hawk. That's all that matters.
True. That is the true test of how good you are.
Oh, well, fuck.
Oh, fuck. I feel like Tony Hawk is going to be the stronger go for this.
Paul Kelly and Angus Stone. I think Big Jet Plane by Angus and Julia Stone was released before this compilation was, and I mean, Big Jet Plane was one of the biggest songs in Australia of the last decade, let alone the year. Which one? Yeah, Big Jet Plane, yeah. No, it's not a Finn cover. That was just straight up their song.
Oh, my mic got muted again, so we'll see how that shows up in the recording.
Yeah, fine. Craig is here, aren't you, Craig? Good on you, Craig. And I think I've already talked a bit about Paul Kelly on this podcast, who's... I mean, the amount of artists in Australia that are inspired by Paul Kelly is just fucking insane.
Who do you think is the more inspirational?
That's a pretty hard question, because I think they both inspire in different ways, but I'd probably say Paul Kelly.
Okay.
Look, the second Paul Kelly dies, I swear there's going to be like 2 tribute albums and 5 compilations that get released in the next year after that.
Fair enough.
Plus, Paul Kelly's still around and he just does whatever the fuck he wants. Which, surprisingly, doesn't seem to be as much cocaine anymore.
Hey, you know, everyone's got their thing and they don't do it anymore.
Everyone gets bored of drugs at some point.
It's a bit hard to do, but yeah.
It's no longer the 80s.
One of the probably lesser known ones on this album for you two is Glenn Richards, who was the frontman for the band Augie March. Again, they had a huge hit in Australia. I don't think that really branched overseas, though.
No. They won an APRA award, and they also won the Australian Music Prize, which I first learned about.
And most importantly, they won a Hottest 100. It came number 1 with One Crowded Hour.
Ah.
Very, very popular song here. Not so much overseas, it seems. And then kind of leaving the last, that's kind of the big one to talk about, as the kind of In my opinion, and in seemingly almost everyone's opinion, the best song off this album. A fucking Boring Bears cover of Fall at Your Feet.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was okay.
You two suck.
Let's talk about
See,
Cody
also-
Nielsen instead.
No. No. Dominic,
I think
you talk
think
about
hyped it
Cody
up too
Nielsen with
much.
your album.
Okay. I mean, Boy and Bear isn't shit gauge, I'll give you that.
I don't want to talk to you now. Get off my get off my podcast. I'm taking control. I mean, yeah, probably, but I mean, as I talked about with you two, Fall at Your Feet kind of was the big breakout song for Boy and Bear. It ended up at number 5, I think, in the Hottest 100 of that year, which showed obviously a lot of love from listeners and radio listeners. And I think in the 200 poll, it ended up coming 131, which means, it shows that it kind of survived with a bit of its love, which is quite incredible for a song that was just written for a compilation album.
Yeah.
That's nice. I do appreciate that.
I don't personally put it as one of the greatest songs of the decade, but I do love it a lot myself. It's not one of those ones that I just go, like, it's not like it hits me emotionally or anything. I think everything on it is just done and executed really well.
Do they ever quite talk about who's better, Boy or Bear?
Boy and Bear.
Who wins, though?
And a boy versus a bear.
And this Boy versus Bear, who's winner?
I think it's not a fight. I think they're collaborating to make music with a banjo.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of banjo and maracas and stuff, which I appreciate. It was kind of Rainbow Kitten surprising.
Yeah, I can see that.
They got the vocal harmonies. They really bring it. And
It'll give me a bit of a Decemberists vibe a little bit. Less depressing Decemberists.
I'm fascinated by Australia's fascination with Americana music.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, but I'm appreciative.
Yeah.
Really have a fascination with it, or if we just kind of have a resemblance of it. But I mean, a lot of music internationally kind of gets inspired from other things. I mean, our hip-hop scene was definitely inspired by American, but eventually kind of branched out to being a bit more independent. By
Sure.
A bit more, I mean, just kind of a bit more. I don't know, I wouldn't say that we have a kind of a fascination with it, but
Not a fact, not nationally perhaps, but artists do seem to like it quite a bit.
I probably just couldn't really tell you, to be honest.
That's fine. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, we're here for speculation and nonsense.
It sure sounds like a good podcast. Yeah, I think that's oh, yeah, the last artist to talk about. We talked about at the start the gayest act to not be gay, and now the gayest act, full stop, is probably Darren Hayes there, who was one of the members of the successful Savage Garden band.
Yes, quite.
That's pretty much it. I don't know if Savage Garden is even still talked about.
I recognize the name, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
That's more than I expected. Anyway, what do you say your favorites and least favorites were off this?
Blender for me.
Blender for you, okay.
I think you didn't properly listen. I think there's quite a lot of variety on here to.
I would
not
agree.
Be a blender.
I would agree.
Yeah, again, this one was kind of a chore to listen to.
I can understand it being a chore. Don't get me wrong on that.
I think my highlights were Shark Attack and the Sleepy Jackson, Better Be Home Soon. Let's see, anything else comes to mind? I was like, it was one of those like surprising stuff. Really, like She Got Body, She Got Soul, being so kind of rockabilly kind of thing was really cool. There was like a lot of cool moments, but I think those two were probably my favorite. Least favorite, probably the Artisan Guns song, Private Universe. Maybe not. I don't know. That was like a very strange song, I felt like. It was like, you talk about Sleepy Jackson being strange, I think the Private Universe cover is also very strange. Anything else really stands out to me as a bad? Or Kiss the Road of Roratunga was kind of different as well.
Did it stand out as bad though?
No. There wasn't a lot of bad stuff, I'll say that.
Yeah. I think it helps when you have a bunch of artists that kind of get to spend a bit more time on a one song than they would. You don't really get anything to be bad, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of artists who have been obviously curated for this purpose, so.
As Trix is called as Blender.
Well, just for me, because I listened to this while working, and the songs didn't really like fade together, but like some of the transitions were like jarring, and it would like catch me off guard. And I often wouldn't like check what song I was on.
Look, I think my favorites, besides Boring Bears Fall at Your Feet, which I love, regardless of what you two say, I'd say the Paul Kelly and Angus Stone collaboration for 4 Seasons in One Day. It's kind of hard to tell that they're collaborating when they both kind of had a similar voice.
Yeah, that's a good song too.
And there was a lot on this. I actually do like a lot of the Jimmy Barnes cover of Message to My Girl. Art vs. Science's Icy Red was kind of fun, but I wouldn't say is one of the big standouts. I don't know, maybe I would agree that the Bubsy Moreau cover of Better Be Home Soon was the worst, but that's really only because it's another cover of Better Be Home Soon on there, which is a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, like, why did they do 2 just because people would be upset?
I don't think they had any kind of requirements. I think a lot of them might have just talked, maybe they just added this on. There's not really much more much information about how they did the and did this album, because I mean it is just a collaboration to go sell into record stores or JB Hi-Fi's or.
I mean, I guess it was down to like, did you want to put the Bubsy Maru song in there, or did you want to put another Perry Keys song in there and have Angel's Heap be another cover?
I didn't listen to the bonus track.
I didn't either, but it's like it was a bonus track. That seems to be kind of like what the decision was of like, do we have the second song cover or like another song, same artist?
Well, before we move on to the next one, so just quickly going back into the Crowded House. Again, they were a very successful band here and inspirational. If I went out right now and asked my mom what her favorite Crowded House song was, she would just start singing it before she actually started giving me an answer.
That's
Albums
cool.
like Woodface just sold incredibly well here and are just well loved by most people who grew up with that album or came out when it came out. That was the one with songs like Ball at Your Feet and Don't Dream It's Over.
Okay.
They are a very important kind of part of the Australian musical history. And I personally probably won't be ever throwing an album for us to cover here. But if you ever do get interested enough in kind of looking into more of what Tim and Neil Finn kind of sounded like in the music that they did, I kind of just also forgot to mention that it's Neil Finn who joined Fleetwood Mac, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh yeah, Fleetwood Mac.
Because they fired Lindsey Buckingham.
Which is a fucking shame. Because he is a fucking great guitarist. Sorry.
I think Fleetwood Mac have enough problems.
Yeah, and oh god, I cannot stand Stevie Nicks' voice.
Are you kidding?
She sounds like a fucking goat witch, man.
You ever seen the
I choked on my seltzer.
So just because we're going to go into a tangent here, I'm just going to quickly say, yeah, so there's a Crowded House album to go to, it's Woodface. You ever seen that South Park episode that came out straight after 9/11?
I did not. Strix probably did.
I did not watch. I have not really watched South Park, even though I chose Isaac
what
Hayes'
it-
album.
Yeah, well, we'll do this as a kind of a segue, I guess, then. But in that episode, they kind of they get a goat from a bunch of kids in Afghanistan, so they try to ship it back, and there's like the war happening at the time, and all of the military confuses the goat with Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks is one of the best vocalists of the 70s and 80s. Stand Back, Edge of 17, great songs. We will cover Rumors at some point.
I'm sure we will. Until then, let's cover Isaac Hayes.
What are we covering him with? A blanket?
With his Scientological
A pillow?
views. Let's talk about Scientology. This is the Scientology episode.
Episode 25, the Scientology episode.
And here we get killed, and here we get put on the dissenting opinions list by Scientology. Because they'll find this if we put Scientology in the title.
You two are dead. I'm fucking fine.
Well, we're not gonna be dead. We're just not gonna be allowed in Scientology.
Oh no, I won't meet Tom Cruise. Oh boy.
My favorite
The 4 foot tall aging lesbian.
my favorite Chases War and Everything skit was back when Tom Cruise was coming down to Australia for a tour, and it was pretty heavily publicized. And obviously, the kind of big controversy about any time an interview or something happens with Tom Cruise is you're not allowed to talk about Scientology or anything, which is, I mean, after I showed my girlfriend the South Park episode on Scientology, which is important here. That's one of the reasons Isaac Hayes left South Park, and by one of the reasons, I mean the reason.
And by Isaac Hayes, we mean maybe his entourage or maybe Scientology made him leave.
Yeah, but this is... We're going to be talking so much about the conspiracies of Scientology. It's going to be so insane.
It's more
This is a
interesting
wild
than the album.
ride.
It is more interesting than the album.
I think the album is alright. It is interesting for its time.
Yeah. But anyway, the skit was that they had dressed up as Tom Cruise's entourage, and they would go all around Australia just into just random places, and they would they would say, "No, we had to make sure this is fine for Tom Cruise," and it would get stuff like those fake energy readers that Scientologists have.
Yeah.
And they would go up to people and say, sorry, you got negative energy, you're gonna have to leave.
That's hilarious.
And then they actually went to the church, the Scientology branch in Australia, and they're just like, we gotta make sure this is fine for Tom Cruise, and they start jumping up and down on the couch. That's an Oprah joke for you.
Yes, that's an Oprah joke.
And it took them a bit longer than it should have for them to get kicked out of the church.
They probably wanted the publicity first.
Well, this is before Chase did the Apex stunts, so they didn't have that much publicity.
I was going to talk about something about Scientology, but then I realized I was getting my celebrities confused.
Say it anyways, because
I was going to talk about how disappointing it was that Ann Archer was a Scientologist, but I was actually thinking about Jessica Walter, who plays the mom on Arrested Development. I thought they were the same person, but they're not.
Oh, is Jessica Walter a Scientologist?
I don't
She's
think.
a Scientologist?
I don't know. I don't think she is. Hopefully not. I don't know. Let me see.
Jason Lee is.
Who's he?
So my name is Earl, and I'm a Scientologist.
Oh, yeah. Willard Smith is a Scientologist. I refuse to call him Will, by the way. I always call him Willard.
Yep. John
I can respect
Travolta.
that. Oh yeah, Battlefield.
Never
Earth.
forget Battlefield Earth. You ever seen the Eric Andre skit with the black Scientologist?
Not.
Battlefield Earth should have been a Tyler Perry movie. I mean, we
I
gotta
can, I can
gotta
see
give the
the
points to Scientology.
I can see
They
the confusion where you got with her with because just what's her name plays Mallory Archer on the TV show Archer,
yeah,
so I can see where that confusion
yeah.
came from.
Yeah, but as I was gonna say, it's you gotta give points to Scientology for their whole kind of getting all the celebrities in on it because it is really helpful it's really helpful publicity. It's a fucking scam and it is fucking disgusting, but it worked.
It's a shame because I can't say I enjoyed some of the all around Hubbard short stories anymore without people labeling me a Scientologist.
That no, because I remember I showed my girlfriend the South Park episode on Scientology, and she went to me the other day and said I can never look at Tom Cruise the same because she didn't quite realize exactly what Scientology was. Like it was a dumb religion, and it was like a religion based of stupidity, but she didn't quite realize how big of a scam it was. Yes. So the South Park episode is actually one of the most important moments in TV history because it's one of the no, it is because it's one of the first times a cartoon or any show directly attacked Scientology. Most of them
Yes.
would indirectly did it, like The Simpsons when they did it, and the first time that South Park did it, they had created a fake religion that was based off it, but didn't say Scientology or anything on there, and it was more indirect. This was the first time where they directly just said it's Scientology. We're going at Scientology. And at the end, because of the whole joke about how Scientology sues, the whole credits they just made everyone say Jane and Joe Smith. But again, a lot of because of how sue happy Scientology was, that's why a lot of shows didn't directly go at it. And after South Park finally did it, that's when the whole Isaac Hayes left. He's claimed a statement that they had gone too far and too offensive, and then yeah, yeah. Well, then Matt Stone and well, we'll get to that as well because what Matt Stone and Trey Parker said is that Isaac Hayes had no problem whatsoever with all the other religions that they had ripped on, but suddenly with Scientology was too far. And the kind of episode where they kill Chef off, that's the whole one where the whole plot of that is that Chef has joined this club, they've screwed up his brain, so now he's a pedophile. And then pretty much the end says, let's not attack Chef, let's attack that club for screwing up his brain. Which is another indirect attack at Scientology.
Yeah, if there's an episode of the Boogie Monster, which is a podcast I listen to. It's one of their live shows, and they had a comedian who, as a kid, he was in Scientology, and he escaped, and it's pretty fascinating. I'll see if I can find the episode.
Mm. Mm. I'm going to see if the Wikipedia uh, article kind of actually mentions it. But there's the whole conspiracy that his death was kind of more of a cover up, and because he was looking to leave Scientology or something like that, that he was actually killed by Scientologists. Mm. I mean, it is kind of really hard to talk about Isaac Hayes if not talking about all of this first because this is very important. It's very important even just listening to him these days because it's we now all just have the context. Mm. And
I found the Scientology episode. It's the live from the Cola Comedy Con episode of the Boogie Monster, and and the guest Derek Sheen talks about how he escaped Scientology when he was like 13 and was like living on his own in the 80s, just selling carpet and living with a pedophile. And it's honestly like one of the most fun listens. Just
Huh. That sounds like a blast.
yeah, I'll post it in the Discord. It's on my podcast app, but
I'm posting just here as well the actual South Park episode, just for you to kind of get a little bit of a catch up and just read through in kind of what happens in it. Because again, this is one of the few ones that kind of directly talk about it, and also them talking about the actual belief structure of Scientology with Xenu and emotion orbs or something fucking stupid like that.
Ah.
It's a very interesting read through, and again, it's what caused Isaac Hayes to leave. And it's not to say that Isaac Hayes is only popular on South Park, because that's fucking bullshit. This dude had a huge career when it came to TV shows.
Shaft.
Obviously, yes, that's what I was going to mention. Which, if you actually go on the Spotify, his most played song is the theme from Shaft.
Oh yeah, that's the song everyone loves.
Hmm.
Michael Cera is Shaft, please.
I would love to see that.
Have you heard the Donald Glover bit on that?
No.
Oh my god. On Donald Glover's comedy album, it's his only one so far. He talks about how they wanted him to be, how there was a thing on Twitter for him to be Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody's like, well, that we can't just make Spider-Man black. That would be like if we made Shaft white. Michael Cera playing Shaft. And he just goes, I would love to see that. And he just goes down this entire hypothetical, and it's hilarious.
Fair enough.
Reading for all the controversies and stuff at the fucking South Park episode, and I just forget how many there were. Because some people don't quite remember, but what happened was that a couple, like the Church of Scientology, obviously knew about the episode.
Yeah.
So they actually hired private investigators to dig up all the dirt that they could on Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
But I believe that.
They found nothing.
Interesting.
Because it's because everything that Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they just don't feel any shame. So like it's like in
like how they showed
basketball
up
or something.
They showed up to the Oscars in dresses and high on
They
acid.
were high on acid, and they decided, hey, let's go to the Oscars and we'll dress up and drag. But there's also the basketball, I think it is, but it's like the commentary. We're halfway through it. They just get bored and they decide to go to a strip club, and that's just all left on the track.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, they don't. These are two people who just don't feel shame. So when the Scientology comes up and tries to dig up on the dirt, you're just not gonna find shit.
Just as an aside, can we talk about Team America for a second?
I guess.
Well, I just want to talk about how they like forfeited like their salaries or whatever, so they could spend more money on the movie, and so they can make like the most realistic looking puppets, and then just like realistic guns for the puppets, and then just make it look like shit on purpose. Like just how when they release the tigers or whatever, it's just like black kittens.
Hmm.
I love that movie.
The only thing of theirs I've really seen is Cannibal the Musical, so I don't really know too much to comment on.
Do yourself a favor and watch Team America.
Like, I know Team America, I know like the memes, and it's been a thing.
Yeah.
But I never really
Team America
seen it.
is actually one of the funniest. I guess you call it satire.
Yeah.
It's quite surreal of a movie, but that's the point. It's a real satire of not only just Thunderbirds, but pretty much action movies in general.
The whole
And it has this-
extended puppet sex scene
Yeah.
where they're shitting at each other.
I'm reading
And
more about
it's
this episode.
it's very interesting controversies to go through and everything. But it's actually, I would say it's one of the best episodes of South Park. Full stop.
Oh yeah.
Dad, Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet. Anyway, Black Moses.
It's an okay album.
It's alright.
Yeah,
I like
It's a
some of the
good one
songs.
It's a good one to put on and just listen to and like not pay attention to.
It's a lot of covers.
Yeah.
I know.
And the best cover is "They Long to Be Close to You." Okay?
Oh, absolutely.
That is the best song off the fucking album.
Yes.
I would agree, but like it still goes for way too long. There's a lot of these songs go for so long, but they just don't. They don't start to build up into anything. They don't have like this kind of outro that brings up anything. It's just kind of staying the same for the whole fucking time.
I mean, that's
And
the
it's
style. That's
very-
what it's going
Yeah,
for.
that's-
I know,
That's 70s
but
soul, man.
That's also disco.
I know, and for some
Yeah.
people it works. For me, it just doesn't.
There's some things I wanted to mention about this album specifically, which is why I brought it up. Like the fact that the bass player was 13 years old on this album.
Oh, I did not know that.
And did you find the names of the backup singers?
The Barkays and the Isaac Hayes movement or something like that.
No, they have like actual like stage names, and their stage names are Hot, Butter, and Soul.
Oh yes, okay, yes. I saw that in the thing, but I was very confused. I didn't know if those were people or what.
Those are the backup singers.
Ugh, boy. Ronnie Hudson. That is the person who did the bass. Let's see. Also responsible for stuff. Hello?
Yes.
Hello, I'm just trying to think of anything to say about this album, but I think this is the most boring album of the week. I don't think it's the most boring album of all time because I've definitely enjoyed this a lot more than the Love album by far. But
Oh yeah, I mean, I think just hearing the raps are interesting.
Have you seen the LP as when it folds out?
Yeah.
I
That
have
shit
not.
is wild.
Could you please show a screenshot to me?
I
Shout
am
that.
posting.
Thank you. Look, the problem is it's a double album, but it could just as easily be a single album. That's
True.
I mean, the thing.
We
I feel like that's just I don't know. I'd like it, but I feel like it might be wrong.
Like, if you look at, like,
Although-
other Isaac Hayes albums, let's see, the second one, Hot Buttered Soul, it is 4 tracks.
Although you could probably make a dice out of that. Just out of that LP,
Yeah, you could.
if you fold it right. Yeah, if you fold it right, giant dice.
Yeah, like, he likes his long songs, or he did. That was, like, his thing. Hot Buttered Soul, again, 4 tracks. That's it. So, I guess to have what is now considered, like, a regular album-length thing, that's an hour and a half, double album, but has, like, the amount of songs that are normal. It's impressive in a way for what he does, but also just, like, filled with stuff that is just, you don't need it to be there. Like, once you get past Never Can Say Goodbye and They Long to Be Close to You, it doesn't really pick up that much. There's some cool things like Good Love 69969. Going in Circles is cool. But, like, in the middle parts, it's mostly just, like, what is he going to talk about now? Because it's, there's the segments that are just him just, like, talking over a beat. And he talks about, like, oh, I abused you, baby, and I feel bad. I just got to do it or whatever. He says some really wild shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like, that was sexy at the time, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this is an album I will put on when I want to just like, okay, yeah, I just need like a baritone voice just singing beautifully into my ear, and I'm not going to pay attention to it. And I just need like to be drifted off into the magical land of hot butter and soul.
And we talk about artists, like I once said Goatee was an incel, and we talked about Loud. But Isaac Hayes is no better. He had the song Help Me Love, where he talks about how, he's suffering, so his girl must be there for him. He's pleading, just this once, you just gotta help me. You gotta help me figure out how to love. After he talks about abusing and using women and everything, he's like, you gotta help me one time, I swear. That's it. Just please help me love.
I mean, this is kind of just what love songs in the 70s and stuff were, though.
Yeah, I feel like this is more acceptable because of the era.
As
shitty as that sounds.
I mean, I think maybe Good Love 69969 is a better example of what you're talking about. Where they're just like, it's just a call-in sex line thing.
Yeah, I think Good Love 69969 was easily my least favorite off this album.
Really? Okay.
Yes, it felt boring and just uncreative to listen to.
Okay, as
like, I could really only hear him go, Good Love 69969 or something like that, and it's just
Good Love 69969.
Okay, as like a real big aside, the fucking soundtrack for Superfly also was a #1 R&B soul album of 1972. And just as a real big aside, the main actor of that movie, Superfly, Ron O'Neal, he went to high school with my grandmother.
That's cool.
Yeah. Just real weird aside, but
is there really much to talk about? Like, Isaac Hayes, Scientology, that is the real story. But Black Moses, though, for being an hour and a half long, there's not much to talk about.
Yeah, the best song being a Carpenter's cover.
And that's interesting too. And like his style for a while there was covering other people's songs in his style.
Yeah,
and that's a way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I prefer that. Isaac Hayes' Chef. His songs are just great there. Simultaneous is so fucking sexy.
I don't know if that song aged poorly or well because of the fucking what's her name?
Well, the chef ones just kind of age well because you know that they're kind of more of a joke on the overly sexual kind of songs that get made.
Yeah.
By artists like Isaac Hayes. So it's as Chef, it was kind of like he got this moment of self-awareness in these songs.
And he stopped recording albums as Isaac Hayes at that point, and just anything he recorded was probably a Chef song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, apparently his 1995 album was pretty good.
And also Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls is pretty funny as well.
Just take my balls and put them in your mouth. Chocolate salty balls.
Which, it's funnier when you know the context of it as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming Dominic does not.
I've watched maybe 4 or 5 episodes of South Park in my life.
Well,
So,
he's
no, you
giving
don't
the
get
kids. He's giving the kids a dessert that are chocolate and salty and
Yes.
ball shaped.
I could figure that out. It's like the Saturday Night Live sweaty balls thing.
Pete Schweddy.
Yes.
I left them on the
Yeah,
stove
there's a whole lot of references to Chocolate Salty Balls in that episode as well. Like, at the end of something, it's like Mr. Hanky, the Christmas food that they gotta save by putting Chef's balls in his mouth. It's just as many balls and mouth jokes as they can make. It was
Yeah.
immature, but it's funny. Anyway, favorite of this is probably that cover of Close to You. Least favorite's probably Good Love 69969. I would put this above a bunch of albums that we've done, but I don't see myself coming back to this. I love Isaac Hayes' voice. I think he has the voice to pretty much carry any album, but it's not going to carry an album above a lot of albums that just do things better.
Yeah.
True.
For me, my favorites are Never Can Say Goodbye and They Long to Be Close to You. My least favorite's probably Man's Temptation. That song just did not jive with me.
So just before Trix goes on, apparently Ike's Rap 2 was sampled by Alessia Cara.
Yeah, it was sampled by a lot of
2014
people.
song.
Yeah.
Portishead.
Yeah. Yeah, Tricky, Portishead, and Rakanashi, as I said that wrong, MCs.
And apparently, according to Wikipedia, Good Love was also covered by Chef in the South Park movie. So
Yep.
that should be one you like, isn't it?
And I just, in the context of this album, if I went back and I saw it in the South Park movie, maybe I'd like it more, but just in the context of this album, it just didn't really stand out.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
That's what this album. That's what this episode's called. Fair enough.
Fair enough. Scientology is bad.
Scientology is terrible. Xenu sucks. Come at me, Scientologists.
So, for those, before Trix gets to go into their picks of the week, for those who have not seen all the kind of shit of Scientology or exactly the true belief of it, go research it, and the more you look into it, it seems very crazy about how people even fall for it. But remember, they prey on depressed people quite a lot.
Yes.
That's the whole basis of their religion. Is the reason that you feel sad is because of this. But if you go into more and pay more into Scientology, we'll give you the secrets to how to fix that.
And then they know all of your secrets, and you can't fucking leave.
Yep.
Anyway, what are your picks there, Trix?
I've already said my number one is definitely They Long to Be Close to You. Just, it's the longest song on the album. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
One of the long. It's the third longest song on the album, and it deserves every second of that song. If you ask me, just like
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna swap. Yeah, I'm gonna swap my least favorite from 69969 to a Brand New Me.
Yeah, I'll go with that too.
What? Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. I forgot about that song for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like I forgot it existed as well. I'm like, yeah, actually, no. Remembering it went on way too long.
Also, okay, yeah, I think this is because this album has a thing where some versions have automatic sequencing, which is a thing with records where you put the stack of records on and it plays them automatically. Then you just flip the stack, and so my version is currently out of order. And so I'm like, why is Ike's Rap 4 the first one? And then we just kind of oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so side 1, side 4, then side 2, and side 3.
Yes.
Which is, dare I say, a little crazy, but
I sent you. I posted the Technology Connections video on.
yeah,
Swap
yeah.
that.
But crazy is the name of what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
shall we go into
December
Yep.
Underground?
Oh yeah, AFI is also here in the background. There's Davey Havoc and AFI again. This album,
Probably the best album of the week.
this whole week is just full of albums that don't deserve to win. I think the closest we've come to for me is the He Will Have His Way. But
I'm
just gonna give all three of these albums a number 2.
was that?
Look, I know what my least favorite of this is this week, and we just covered it.
Oh God!
If you told me to say which one of the is better, He or December Underground or He Will Have His Way, they both have the problems that each album has, and what makes the albums great are just not the same on each album. you like him for different ways and you hate him for different ways.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
December Underground.
December Underground has a consistency that He Will Have His Way would never have.
Right.
But, like, just in the kind of the sound and the flow, but He Will Have His Way has a lot more quality than December Underground does.
Yes.
I think there's some absolutely great emo tracks, or screamo. There's not really much screamo on here to really call it one.
I mean, Kill Caustic is definitely one.
Yeah, Kill Caustic, yeah, but like Love Like Winter, Prelude, Summer Shudder. I think the first half of this album is actually really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But after Love Like Winter, it kind of really falls off.
Killing Lights and 37mm definitely bring it back. Killing Lights has a really nice hook.
Yeah.
And 37mm is a straight up just like electronica song. But this is always kind of the album I would always had saved for a rainy day. And I think this kind of shows in a sense because
I feel like if you ever go back to AFI, you have to go with Sing the Sorrow.
probably, I don't know if I will though.
I think that's the one. I feel like that's the one where the kind of early sound and the kind of sound that they started to bring up into that mid-noughties, it kind of is in that perfect kind of middle ground.
Sure. There's a couple of things I did want to talk about with this. Is that, number one, originally I was going to do this closer to the episode we did of 2 AFI EPs. Because I really wanted to talk about how, like, from those 90s EPs, they transitioned into this emo rock thing. And
I think without a doubt, the EPs are better.
Oh, yes, they are. I like this album okay, but the EPs are way better.
I like All Hello's EP is a very, very good EP.
Oh, yeah.
Except for that cat on the fucking cover.
It's the worst album art for one of the best EPs have done.
All Howl's EP is still my favorite AFI album. It's all killer, no filler, except for the parts that are filler.
I would probably just slightly put Sing the Sorrow above it, but
I'd listen to that again, I guess.
Yeah.
Miss Murder, I always get surprised that there's a little bit of screamo in there.
yeah.
But like,
You got Miss Murder's obviously pretty sure the biggest AFI hit.
it was number one on the Billboard charts. It is the song people will know AFI for if they didn't already know AFI.
Dominic,
Yeah.
just right click on my Discord profile and just show what's come up on my Spotify at the moment.
Girls Not Grey.
Girls Not Grey, Sing the Sorrow just started playing and I did not select that.
I do say,
Telling you, man.
for me, December Underground completes the trifecta of American Idiot, this, and The Black Parade. I don't know why I consider them all to be kind of a trifecta, but they are in my mind. And
So AFI's just not really that worth talking about after December Underground. I mean, they had a couple songs, but their albums are very disappointing after this.
much like Green Day.
Yep. Except Green Day was never good. Thank you.
I think that 21st Century Breakdown is underrated.
But there was like all point, especially with Green Day and AFI, where they had really just dramatically changed their sound and became this new thing that was happening. And the Black Parade also was just there. My Chemical Romance just kind of came in and did it themselves.
Yeah.
You remember when every emo act in like the early 10s decided, you know what we need? Dubstep. Fall Out Boy putting out their electronic album.
Yeah.
And my god, if they ever do that again, I'm gonna find them and shoot them.
I mean, this isn't new. Radiohead had their Kid A.
Yeah. And again, this has 37mm, which is not dubstep, but like
difference
electronic.
was just that Radiohead could actually do it well.
I mean, they do it well here too.
Kid A is a good album, but don't you dare fucking tell me I woke up sucking on a lemon was a good lyric.
It is not.
In the right context, it can be.
Well, my favorite Tom York lyric, they are spaghetti, they haunt me.
That is another album we will cover at some point.
You can't beat that. That's
December Underground is the weakest of the three. It is weaker than American Idiot, but the Black Parade is the best one for me by far.
it's the best one for most people.
American Idiot has more nostalgia for me.
But this album gave us a couple of classic AFI covers, including Don't Change by NXS, and more importantly, Head Like a Hole by Nine Inch Nails. We didn't listen to them for this, but it's just worth noting that they tried to cover Head Like a Hole. And I think
just want to say, just a punk band or an emo band covering Don't Change by NXS is just way too common.
Right, that's like...
It should be equal to 0, but we've at least got a couple out there, so why? Grinspoon did it, it was very average.
Also, December Underground, this is when AFI was getting really into themselves. They had an AR game where they put out clues and stuff, and people had to figure it out, and as they figured out all the stuff in the game, that they could win secret passes to concerts.
So someone should have said when the Miss Murder video was getting made to say, hey, maybe this won't hold up well. Maybe you'll just look like a bunch of pandies. Or what is it? Pussies. Anything. Dandies might be the word I'm looking for.
Pansies?
Pansies. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so they had the stupid AR game. It's when Davey Havok became really Davey Havok, and you know, like, I think probably the vegan stuff and all that was there before, but this is when it really started getting like heavy.
So we can definitely thank AFI for kind of starting the whole internet creepypasta,
yes,
all AR shit.
Yes.
Okay, I hate them for that.
Yep, no. Alright, so AFI is not the least favorite of all time. Just they've ruined the internet. Reality was, if it wasn't them, it was going to be someone else.
They introduced all the sad emo kids into creepypasta and fucking the fucking AR games.
Also,
look, I still think the worst band to come out of the emos was Falling in Reverse, but that's mostly due to Ronnie Radke.
I mean, it's. I mean, also the correct answer is Broken Side, but yes.
I was gonna say just Lost Prophets because of the baby fucking.
That too, but Broken Side is actually terrible on a musical level.
In my defense of that, Trix, I had managed to successfully forget that Lost Prophets had even existed.
They were in fucking Lego Rock Band.
Yeah, I know. You actually play on the rooftops, playing to rooftops Liberation broadcast, and look, people are saying that you really get into the mind of a baby fucker when you hear Lost Prophets, but I'm just getting into the mind of a wanker.
And let's get off the topic of baby fucking.
Please. I'm looking at my notes. This album's very self-referential. As I said in the last episode, the chorus to Miss Murder, would you mind if I stayify, or whatever that, stayify, AFI, they fucking say their whole name in the fucking chorus. December Underground is mentioned in the interview. The Missing Frame, they have the lyric, would the flood behind me put out the fire inside me.
Oh, fucking hell.
So they really are into themselves at this point.
Like the
check me, reference myself.
I
do think Kiss and Control has the dumbest part of the album where they go all spoken word and shit.
It was cringy when Lorenzo fucking did self-referential to Petite League.
I think self-referential can be fun, but not like this.
In the Petite League, no. It's the perfect game, no hitter, boys. 1, 2, 3,
my favorite is
and
when
I
Hilltop
go
Hoods
down
would do it in their early
swinging.
albums, and they'll just record some people from like fucking Western Sydney or Western Adelaide or wherever, just out fucking west, just out they'll just get them into the most bogan fucking accent that they could, and just go, "Oh, I'm at a Hilltop Hoods show," and that would just be it.
That just sounds hilarious.
That's why I say it's my favorite.
So is there much more we can say? December Underground is kind of just the loser here in a sense, because it's a nice album.
I think going into it, it beats Black Moses. I don't know if I'm going to put it slightly behind. Give me a bit to think. I think there's some great moments on here in the start half. I actually liked a lot of Summer Shudder.
Yeah.
Kill Caustic was. I mean, it's angsty as fuck, and it's not one of the highlights, but I like it. But then, like 37mm and Endlessly She Shed, I can't even really remember.
I love 37mm. It's one of my favorites.
It's an okay song.
I mean, like you said, the first half is the best. I think Prelude 1221, not 2112, 1221 is really good. Kill Caustic, Miss Murder.
I think it's an interesting introduction. I don't know why everybody seems to love it very much. I don't think it's a standout by far.
It's the first track. Yeah. They play it at all the concerts. It's the intro, bruh.
Okay, since you mentioned 2112 and we talked about South Park earlier, I'm gonna just mention the fucking Tom Sawyer intro.
I love that. I love that intro. It's great.
It's fucking great.
So for people who haven't seen this, this is where it's the boys from South Park are just kind of in a makeshift garage band covering Tom Sawyer, and it's like Kyle and Cartman or something have a constant fight at the start, and it goes like a minute. It was actually made by Trey Parker and Matt Stone because they themselves are pretty huge fans of Rush.
And then Rush just uses it every time they play 2112.
Nice.
I got this. I saw it twice.
I think they originally did it for the introduction to Tom Sawyer, but yeah.
By the way, if you're wondering what December Underground means, lead singer Davey Havok describes it. December Underground is a time and a place. It is where the cold can huddle together in darkness and isolation.
So just cringy emo shit.
And by the way,
he should have just left it at it's a time and a place, and that would have just been great.
And let's not forget that their fan base is called, among other things, the Despair Faction.
Bruh. That's a bra moment right there.
And this is also at a time when they were record label hopping. They went from Nitro to DreamWorks Records, I believe, for Sing the Sorrow. DreamWorks Records.
Shrek DreamWorks?
Yes. Steven Spielberg started a record company, and AFI was signed. And that's where they began.
What in the fresh hell?
With that, I don't want to know anything else about AFI.
And then they went to Interscope, which is where the December Underground got made.
That is like fucking AFI on the fucking DreamWorks label is the fucking least punk thing you can fucking say.
I mean, that's why people say they sold out, because they went to fucking DreamWorks after being on Nitro forever.
I fully can say that, yeah, they fucking sold out.
I mean...
With that, I just don't want to talk about AFI now.
Okay.
Have I upset you enough?
Miss Murder is the best song. The rest of this just, what the fuck. Anyways, on to album rankings. We'll just skip the number ones and least favorites.
Oh, hey, I haven't said my favorite.
Hi. Hello. I have to say mine
too. Hello,
too.
Trix. Yeah, look, the favorite. Miss Murder's the best off this by far. Is it Angsty as Hell? Yes. Is it AFI's best song? Probably not. Is it the best song of this album? Yes, it is. I mean, yeah, bass. Bass is fucking beautiful. Least favorite, probably Endlessly.
I mean, Miss Murder is the best song. I remember when I was in middle school, we were working out for gym class. They put on a pop track, like a radio pop thing, and Miss Murder came on all the time.
Jock Rock.
Yeah.
And then I also like 37mm a lot. I came to really like the Killing Lights. Kill Caustic is fun. Prelude to 1221 is also really nice. Least favorite is probably... Which one has it? Which one has the fucking spoken word? Is it The Affliction or is it The Interview? One of those. I think it's Kiss and Control that has the spoken word shit. That's my least favorite.
And with that,
Endlessly She Said is also my least favorite.
I'm just gonna go into you know what? We'll get Tricks to do it first because I'm kind of still blanking on number 2 and number 1.
Also, do you remember when IGN reviewed albums?
No.
No, I'd rather forget.
When I was doing research, they totally reviewed December Underground IGN, and I was like, oh
What did
yeah.
they give it? What did they give it? Come on.
Oh god, I have to look it up now. Tricks, give your thing.
Number 2 is all across the board.
Tricks, do an actual 3-1 before I kill you.
Number 3, I'm sorry, Ritalin. I gotta put He Will Have His Way.
That's fine. That's fine. You're at least giving a 3-2.
Number 2, fucking Isaac Hayes. Like, it's a good album, but I think that even, like, though December Underground has, like, its lesser parts to it, it's an album I'd be more likely to put on, like, the whole thing rather than just a few songs.
Dominic, you're 3-2-1.
No. You go ahead first. I want to hear this. I want to hear this first.
No, I don't fucking know what I'm picking. I'm still debating.
Also, IGN review, they gave Miss Murder an 8.9.
Oh, they just gave the song. Oh, no. The
No.
actual album an 8.9.
Yes. Definitely download Miss Murder Kill Caustic in the interview, according to this review by Ed Thompson.
The interview,
Pirate
isn't
these
it the spoken
songs.
word one?
No, that's Kiss Control.
Okay.
Anyway, my rankings, number 3 is December Underground. I was not feeling it this week. It's a fine album, but like, I was more intrigued by Black Moses, my number 2, to be honest. Even if it's long and there's not a bunch of great songs, I was perplexed and interested by it. And December Underground is also, like I said, the least favorite of American Idiot and Black Parade as well, which leaves my number 1 as He Will Have His Way by Tim Finn, Neil Finn, and everybody else in Australia.
Number 3. Oh, gee, I wonder what I picked as that. Yeah, nah, Isaac Hayes Black Moses. I don't see myself returning to this one, but as much as I love his voice, this album just does not grab me at all. It's very close, and I feel bad when I do it this way, but I'm picking number 2 as AFI's December Underground.
Yes, we're all different this week.
Yeah, well, we were all going to be different this week because Trix picked as number 3, you picked December. Don't worry, it's already different.
Her
Anyway,
number 1's my number 3.
Yeah, so yeah, number 1 this week. I'm going to stick with He Will Have His Way. I feel like you could swap any day though. And they might ask me in 2 weeks, and I might think December Underground is better. But for now, He Will Have His Way kind of goes to as a number 1. Mostly because I love the Boy and Bear cover that much. It doesn't matter what you two think.
That's fine.
Yeah. Facts don't care about our feelings.
If that's what you like, that's what you like.
I'm Ben Shapiro.
Oh, God.
Now that I've pissed you two off.
Who's Mara Wilson in this? Is it you or me, Trix?
Fuck if I know. Probably me.
Let's go into the albums that we're going to cover next week.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a better experience. Yeah, what's up?
So we've had the problem of going through a lot of length.
Yeah.
So I've decided, let's add some length. We do it in 3 separate ways. I am doing every single Mallrat EP from Uninvited to Driving Music, which is around 3 16.5-minute EPs each.
Yay.
Just doing it as an average. Moving on to my first female fronted, actually.
You're the only one who
Female
noticed.
solo. Yep. I'm that good, aren't I?
And Trix, you're doing something you said?
Yeah, I'm doing our first French album. I am doing a French. I guess you could call them a metal band, even though they're not really metal. Maybe more like just like heavy alternative rock.
Okay.
I don't really know what to I call them proto metal because they remind me of like the '70s kind of like before like the metal sound kind of was like finalized. If that
Get
makes
on
sense.
with it.
Well, anyway, I'm doing the album La Planète Inexplorée by Slift. Slift.
That's not Slade.
Interesting enough,
That's not Slap.
They have a 2020 album as well, which is
Oh shit.
Yeah, but I wanted to do this one because I haven't listened to the 2020 album. I was gonna just do their EP, but I figured their Planet Inexplorée was gonna be more fun. But yes.
All right, which leads to me to bring some quality after last week for me. I'm doing Toxicity by System of a Down.
going from angst to angst.
And
I'm just kind of in the middle with like French angst.
Trix, you need to talk to you about your reactions to System of a Down in the chat when you listen.
Okay, I will, because this will be my first time listening to System of a Down. If I'm going to be fully honest.
See, I'm the kid who couldn't find anybody to go to the System of a Down concert with, so I went with my dad.
And I discovered System of a Down last year, so we all have different experiences.
Really? Yeah. Only last year?
Yes, it was System of a Down and My Chemical Romance.
Look, a spoiler alert: System of a Down's probably going to win it for me because this is an album I grew up with.
I mean, Toxicity is amazing.
It's fucking incredible. It's angsty as shit, but it's what makes it so fun.
Also,
I just realized Spotify has a bonus track on it.
Oh shit!
It has Arto. That's yeah, because the actual main one ends at Aerials.
But Aerials has that track at the end. Maybe they just separated that thing at the end because it has. Remember?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Remember to read up on your Armenian genocide literature.
But it never happened, according to Turkey.
And the U.S.
And many countries.
I'll try to reread the book I had when I took a genocide class in high school. That'll be interesting. It was a class on genocide. It was a class. It was a class on genocide, not the other thing.
A class on how to commit it.
On the problems and how we can avoid it. It was a very social justice-y class, and I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, I mean, Dominic, I think whether or not you took that class is not going to stop. It's not going to really help, like, stop you committing a genocide. Because either you're going to commit it or you weren't.
That's true.
Oh damn! I was going to commit this genocide, but this high school class told me I shouldn't.
Turns out Hitler was the bad guy. Who knew?
Are we the baddies?
What? Anyway, that's Dissonant Waves. We're gonna have fun next week.
I've been Riddleman. You can catch me on nowhere because I don't talk on any real social media. And if you find my Facebook, I'm just gonna be creeped out, but kind of a little turned on. You can catch me at my website, and by catch, you know what I mean. At riddlemanforkids.github.io. I also have a YouTube channel, which no one ever actually watches, but you could be the first. It's linked in the description
I watch
below.
your stuff when it uploads.
Oh, thank you.
I have
one of my
not.
2 subscribers.
I am.
I think the other one is Pete.
Oh, that's cute.
It is.
Because I told him I subscribed to his channel. Actually, no.
Subscribe for subscribe.
I think he subscribed to my channel before I subscribed to his.
That's amazing.
Let's check Minime's subscribed page.
Also, follow Minimi on YouTube. He's the reason this is all happening.
Yeah, it is, honestly.
We all met through him. I've been Dominic. You can catch me at DACICHOCKI on Twitter whenever I actually check it, which is not very often these days. I sometimes write things for TiltingWindmillStudios.com, though I'm working on other projects right now, so that's not really has been as much of a thing. I have a YouTube channel. It's not very important. Don't try to look it up.
Yeah, it's just full of like cringy high school shit.
And random clips of video games.
Yeah, and random clips of video games. I've been Trix. You can catch me on Twitter at procrastinaut_. That's like procrastinating astronaut. And also on YouTube at Moonchild, where I've been working on a video for like 3 weeks now. I just need to film a final clip and upload it, but I've just been too lazy to film that final clip. And also, we have a Twitter at Dissonant Waves on Twitter.
Yeah.
And our new website that I still need to update a bit more.
Dissonant Waves dot space. Dissonant Waves dot space. The final frontier for music.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm trying to see what is my most popular video on YouTube here. It is
Dinsey Plans.
No, it's that's not even my most popular custom game.
Oh shit.
It's Sports Ball is currently beating that by 4 views. It's that time that I got streamed in a CS:GO tournament.
Streamed or memed?
Streamed.
Streamed.
Like we actually got streamed to 300 views.
That's cool.
ASCII no, blue.jpg has the most views. No, Dinsey Plans.
No, if you look at all my videos and sort by most popular, it's
Yeah.
Piss Around highlights with 56 views.
This is in Waves. Goodbye.
I've set my desk on fire, and that's only got 12 views.
Goodbye, everybody.